This is the Shoot at the Hip podcast, and on this edition, we're going to be talking about Braun Strowman, the monster among men, 6'8", 385-pound wrecking machine known as Braun Strowman. First off, I want to give WWE credit. Yeah, I know. It's not the most popular thing to do in 2017, blah, blah, blah. But you got to give them credit for this, man, because it is one character that they actually built, okay? This isn't somebody that they got from New Japan. This isn't somebody they got from Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. This ain't somebody that they got from Ring of Honor. This was a guy that they actually built his gimmick. And it's been a long time since the WWE actually built the gimmick. The only real successful gimmick that they built recently I can really think of that's been successful, and this might get a lot of people comment down below, but it's been Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns? That's probably what somebody said, but that's right, Roman Reigns. Whether you like him or not, whether you cheer him or boo him, you got to give credit. Roman Reigns is a legitimate superstar in WWE. He means a lot. He's main event WrestleMania after WrestleMania. And if you haven't heard my show about Roman Reigns, I ask that you go ahead and check out that video, but he is a main eventer. Well, wait a minute. Roman Reigns isn't the only person that the WWE built. What about Bray Wyatt? Come on, man. Bray Wyatt, as much as I like Bray Wyatt, he's not really as successful as he was. I mean, he was a good character that they did create, but he's not on the level of a Roman Reigns, and he's not on the level of a Braun Strowman, which is ironic because Braun Strowman actually came in with Bray Wyatt. Of course, we know Eric Rowan was hurt, and they needed somebody to take the place. Well, no, not Eric Rowan. I'm sorry. Luke Harper was hurt, and they needed somebody to take the place of Luke Harper. And, of course, you step in for Luke Harper, Braun Strowman. And honestly, man, he was about as green as a blade of grass. And you can tell, like, he really didn't know that much about wrestling. WWE basically picked him from the streets. He didn't have any type of experience when it comes to NXT. He basically went from the Performance Center to the main roster. I mean, he was actually training at the Performance Center and being on the main roster at the same time. The WWE protected him by putting him with Bray Wyatt. And lo and behold, look at him today. I mean, he's legit, man. And a lot of people had problems with him at first because they felt as if he was a very stagnant, individual. They thought that he couldn't wrestle, which he couldn't. But now you look at him, man, he's putting on some of the best matches. I mean, the WWE has really been doing an outstanding job putting him in situations that make people actually care about him. And I really like Braun Strowman, man. Like, I didn't know what to think about him, of course, when they had the whole brand split and they separated him from Bray Wyatt. He had a couple squash matches, and, a lot of people actually seen how athletic he was for his size. He was actually dominating guys, having 1-on-3 matches. He was wrestling 3 guys at one time, 2 guys, 1-on-1. He's the reason why James Ellsworth actually had a WWE contract. I mean, we don't want to give him credit for that, but it's the truth. James Ellsworth had a match with Braun Strowman, and everybody kind of, went to social media. So if it wasn't for Braun Strowman actually kicking James Ellsworth's ass, James Ellsworth probably wouldn't have a job. Still protecting them by putting them in matches with guys so he can, squash them and make people actually care about him. That was, once again, that's a good look. And now look at him. Fast forward, you put him in matches with Big Show. You put him in matches with Roman Reigns. Honestly, you can make an argument to say that Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman, they basically got a new age Edge John Cena type feud. Everybody looks at John Cena and Edge, as one of the feuds of the late 2000s, man. John Cena and Randy Orton. Some of the feuds they had. So you have Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman. You got 2 guys that have been main eventing pay-per-views for the later part, probably for the most part of 2016 and early 2017. I look at Braun Strowman today, like I said, he is a legit main event type caliber guy. But I just don't like the direction they're going with him in so far. I mean, turn him into a baby face, I really don't like that move. I think that in a world that we live in today, WWE fans, it really doesn't matter if a person is face or heel. They're going to cheer for who they want anyway. So making him a baby face really not going to make any difference at all. I really think he was a baby face already because some of the predicaments they put him in, a lot of people cheer for him anyway. I mean, watching this guy, get compacted inside a trash truck and he comes back. In the back of an ambulance, Roman Reigns backs him into a trailer, and he squished him. He comes back a couple weeks later. This guy turns over an ambulance. I mean, the situations that WWE put him in makes people emotionally invested in Braun Strowman. So I didn't understand the move at Survivor Series by allowing him to just completely decimate Triple H. But I like what they have done with Braun Strowman so far. A lot of people can argue to say that the WWE actually done a better job with the handling of Braun Strowman than they did with Roman Reigns. You look at Roman Reigns, we see that, he won the Royal Rumble. When a lot of people thought that Daniel Bryan should have won that year and the writing was on the wall. So I think Braun Strowman doesn't really have that issue. Braun Strowman don't have to worry about if the fans like him or not. It just seems like Braun Strowman is just out there doing what Braun Strowman, the character, actually does, and that's destroy things. And because people like guys like this, and he looks the part, he looks tough, he looks like he can kick your ass, people are going to get behind him. But do I like the fact that they turned him into a baby face? Absolutely not. Because clearly, people are going to cheer for him, rather he is a baby face or not.